Hey guys, I'm here. I'm going to do a Portalcraft card review for the Dawnbreak expansion. Totally know the name. No problem. This is take 2 because the first time I did this, the music audio was way too loud. But I did a pretty good job of talking, so hopefully I repeat that. The game audio is still going to be loud, but it's just so I can do the voice lines. Dawnbreak. These are the only 2 cards I didn't get from packs. The first pack I opened had that which erases and Orcus. The 2 Portalcraft legendaries. And I obviously got like a whole crap load of this guy, Dirk. But anyway, so I'm going to be reviewing from an artifact portal perspective predominantly. I'll still talk about puppets to some extent, because you have to. But it's mostly from being a very good artifact portal player that I understand this class. So Nora of History is the best card in the set by far for Artifact Portal. Did I say Artifact again? Artifact Portal. It's just so much better than everything else.
Go ahead. Try these girls out. Go and get them. See you again. Go, connect with her. So
it introduces this card, which is basically a Mordecai artifact, except 1 play point less, and it spawns at the start of your turn instead of respawning infinitely. But it will still have initiative as far as I know, so it's basically still a Mordecai. This artifact is fine, but the reason why this card is good is because it has this evolve effect, which is the same as Icarus. So when you play this on turn 4 going second, usually you'll have generated at least 4 or 5 artifacts. So you get a low chance of drawing the prime, which you most likely don't want at that situation. And so that just makes this another Icarus, and Icarus is your best 2-drop, so hooray, you get another good 2-drop. Rocket Knuckles. I just woke up. Well, I didn't just wake up, so usually when I wake up and start trying to talk over video, I'll have random guttural noises. My apologies. Rocket Knuckles is just removal. Portalcraft does not need removal by and large. Puppet Portal does, but already has really good removal. Because you just out-tempo your opponent almost universally. So this is almost certainly not good. This card is interesting.
I'll help you battle. I learned what power means. There's lots more, but we decided to be together. I'm going to be what you need.
Resonance. Okay, I don't understand the description of this card. Does it mean you need 4 play points when you play this to get the effect, or 2 play points? If it's just 2 play points, it's redundant because the card already costs 2 mana. So I don't understand this aspect of it. As far as Resonance is concerned, it has a 50% chance of not being a very good 2-drop when you've already got tons and tons of 2-drops that are already good by default. So even though this effect especially... Not this effect. This effect especially is pretty good. It doesn't really make this card that great. It is a Radiant generator, so if the Radiant deck... I think the Radiant deck is still a little bit away from being good, but whenever it becomes good, this might be part of that deck. Junk is a good card, easy to understand, you get 2 puppets and a body. Wonderful. Devil of the Gaps is a good card, and kind of an independent card that kind of just works. But, like you can put it in anything. But I don't think it's that great relative to the other 3-drops. It's nowhere near as good as Fervent, and Cat Cannoneer is probably a little bit better as well. This spell is great, but it doesn't work with Rush or Charge, and it doesn't work with Accelerator because you take away the Rush after you play this on it. So it only works if you've already got something on the board, which is common enough with Portal. And this one is okay. Sometimes you want Ward in late game, but usually with Portalcraft, Ward is unnecessary. At least with Artifact Portal. In Puppet Portal, I'm not sure.
I wander in the middle. Choose. Bon voyage. I wander in the middle. Which will you choose?
It's an interesting card. It's probably pretty good in Arena. I think, tentatively, Arena Portal might be the best class in Arena right now. From brief experience. And it's just because they have a limited card pool and their cards are on average better. This card is okay, but it's not guaranteed to be 2 puppets. If it was just a 4-mana 3/3 get 2 puppets, it would probably be a fairly strong card. But you're only going to get 1, and you have to use an evolve on it.
Life is so filthy. Your taste is excellent. Oh, tedious. What do you know? Out of my face! Life. Oh, what do you know?
Pretty good voice lines, though. Crystal Canon. Okay. This is a card you would build a deck around. But I think it's not that great right now. It might be good in the future. Because it's just a way to continuously deal damage to the opponent's face and also his board. In a similar fashion to Royal Banner or what have you. Or whatever the stealth card was called. Also the 5-mana play commander Canon that Swordcraft has, and might still use. Dirk is a good card.
No matter the cost. Even if it costs my life. My role here is complete. No matter the cost. I'll battle. I'll fulfill my duties.
Very slow speaking. Rush is great. Like a 5-mana rush means this is basically a 5-cost removal with some upside. And it also gives you an artifact, which makes it good. But the main thing you want this for is to fish for Radiance. So you generate only Radiance and maybe smaller artifacts as well. And this guy will always give you a Radiant, which means maybe the Radiant deck is consistent enough to see play. But I bet the standard formulations of Artifact Portal are still much better. Here's a good card. Wonderful card.
I am the perfect puppet. I'm going to end you here. No! No! Break them, Victoria!
Okay, this card is very strong, but because Portalcraft basically has no good evolves, so now they do, other than 2-drops. So you can theoretically save evolves until turn 7 instead of just using them on Deus Ex Machina and Spinaria whenever you feel like it. But putting this in your deck means it's going to be a little bit harder to play, because you might have to think about saving evolves instead of just using them instantly. But basically Victoria is a Taurus, so it does damage before it attacks, and then it will also attack after that. So it's a 3-mana removal, plus a 6-mana removal if you evolve the card, and you've also got a 4/4 that has Rush after that. So it's very strong, it doesn't require any other cards to make it good. Good card. Maybe one of the best Portal cards in Arena. Okay, this card has a powerful effect, but isn't necessarily good. The reason why is because Banish or Random Enemy Follower Amulet, it's strong, but you don't really need it. Portalcraft already has by far the best 5-mana removal in the game. 5-cost Banish that draws you a card, which is just completely busted. So you don't really need this for anything except for amulets, but they put it a much better card in this set for amulet removal, so a neutral card. So you don't really need this for that either. What you would do is you play this and then meta production 3 times, or this meta production and like biofab and some other stuff. And then you remove the entirety of the opponent's board. If it did like damage while you were banishing, like 1 damage to the opponent's face, then maybe it would be viable. But I just feel like it's too slow and clunky. Orcus. This is the main card of the set. That'll probably make Puppet a little bit better. Puppet was already good. And Puppet is much easier to play than Artifact Portal, though still much harder to play than the vast majority of decks that are not Portalcraft. So maybe, like, Artifact Portal is so difficult that it makes the deck a little bit worse, just because it's virtually impossible to play it perfectly, so that makes the deck like 2% worse than it should be, which is conceptually interesting, because the vast majority of Hearthstone style of games, decks, are nowhere near that difficult. Most games you can figure out the best turn in 15 seconds, and you might think about if it's worth doing the second best turn for 2 minutes if you want, but generally speaking, you just do the best turn. But with Portal, it's not like that, especially not in slow control games. Like in the Mirror or against Shadowcraft, you might have 2 minutes to figure out a turn, but a lot of that turn might be siphoned off by 15-second animations while you're analyzing artifacts into stuff with an accelerator on the board. And you just don't have enough time to think about what the optimal play would be, so you just have to do it proactively. And that's obviously absurdly difficult compared to just, oh, I'm Dragoncraft, I got Bahamut. Tilting at Windmills is on the board, I play Bahamut. Or I play Israfil Sahakville, and then our whole board's gone, or whatever. That's the usual play for most decks. But Puppet is a little bit more complicated than the average deck. I think Puppet is kind of in line with old, difficult Forest decks, and maybe the modern Forest deck too. The one that's interesting, not neutral Forest. But hard to say. Anyway, this card is good. It gives you a source of healing, which Portalcraft just doesn't have, or didn't have before. So you'd have to play like Israfil Sahakville if you wanted healing. Which probably works, because that combo is so broken. And it also gives you a source of taunts. The other option is just a way to make puppets do damage to the opponent's face. And if miraculously the second marionette sticks on board, then you get a completely broken follower. But that's probably never going to happen in Constructive. You can... So you're obviously going to play this card, Puppet. You're probably not going to use it as a 3-of. I guess 2 is optimal. But in Artifact Portal, you can use it with Puppeteer strings. Basically, if Forestcraft is good enough, which I think Forestcraft and Shadow are probably going to be the 2 strongest decks for a little while. If it's nothing but Forestcraft, Wood of Brambles, you can't do anything about that with artifacts, then Puppeteer Strings is suddenly an extremely valuable card to run in your deck. And if you're running that, you might as well run like one Orcus if you feel like it. It's probably not that good of an idea, but you could do it. Let's look at the neutral cards. Oh, did I not do create cards? Yeah, I have all the portal cards, so not an issue. This card is good. It's good in every deck. Almost every deck, every class. It's just obviously good. The fact that it's a 1 mana cycle makes it a default for certain aggro decks. You can make an artifact deck that doesn't involve Deus, which sounds crazy, but it could work. And this would be a core component of that deck. But you could probably run this because Artifact Portal. Portal doesn't run 1-drops, basically, and this is a 1-drop that's good, so why not? Except for meta production, of course. But meta production doesn't really do anything. This card is okay, but has some wonderful voice lines.
An upper crust tart coming open wide! Oh, never mind. An upper crust tart coming right up! Bronzed and buttery! An upper crust tart coming right up!
This effect is strong, but it stays at 2-2, and as we'll see shortly, there's another 2-2 in the set that's way better. Or that becomes a 4-4 and has a good effect. But this is still a decent card in Arena. This card is very good in Arena because it's a flexible drop. 5 mana 4-4, 8 mana 7-7, or a 2 for 2-2. 2-2s in Arena are the best thing in the game by far. Other than like broken legendaries, but you're not gonna get those reliably.
Here and now, your salvation. There is still hope for you. Hope!
This sort of thing can't.
Now, extend your hand.
Paradise Vanguard. This is the card I was talking about. So the reason why this might see, well, probably won't see play in Constructed that much, but it could see play, or you could feasibly run it in Portalcraft to deal with 1 defense followers, like the little shitty elf that Forestcraft has, the 1/1 that spawns, or gives them a fairy when it dies. So you just get rid of it with this if they have Wood of Brambles on the board. And then suddenly this is a pretty good card. In Arena, I think it's extremely strong, another really good neutral gold. I'm not sure on the whole if that's good for Arena or bad. It's probably slightly good, but Arena doesn't seem like it's good in general. It was good a long, long time ago. Darkness of All, boys.
Of mercy. Up to heaven with you, and back I go. Of mercy. How can you expect forgiveness?
This card has good thumbnail potential, so useful for me, I suppose.
Here and now, your destruction. I'll teach you despair. Despair!
I'm not sure what's going on with their head here. Is there some obscure symbolism I'm not aware of? I don't know. Here's the real symbolism right here.
Now, expose your neck. Here and I'll teach despair. This can't be happening.
This is the main, like, the theme of the set, but I think it's a slow value card. It's a little elaborate to explain and not relevant to Portalcraft, so I'm not going to talk about it, but also I don't have it. But, I think most slow value cards don't really do anything in Shadowverse unless they're completely obviously broken, which this card doesn't seem like it is. This is like the worst 5-mana Assassinate ever printed. Don't know why you would run it, but it might be okay in Arena. This card is great. This is the amulet removal I was talking about. It's just a better version of the 7-mana enhanced card that everybody's running to deal with tilting at windmills for a while. Burly Axe Wielder. And this is just a straight up better version of that. 1 mana less, becomes a 6/5 instead of a 4/4. It's great. If you want a tech card. Like, if Havencraft is good, suddenly you run this card. Oh, Havencraft, not so good anymore. Which, I guess if you're a Haven player is annoying, but whatever. This card is interesting. It doesn't really work with Portalcraft at all. But I could see it working with random stuff, like Rudecraft, maybe Haven. Who knows? It's probably not good, but at least it's interesting. And, okay, let's... Well, I already did the tech choices. Spoilers, since I did this video already, but... So... Cards, wrong button. No. Decks. So, let's see here. I'm trying to remember what the other thing was that I pulled out. Oh, it was, This card. Okay. So I took out one Accelerator, one Mech Wing, and one Pure-Hearted Singer for 2 Knowers of History. So now I have 13 2-drops instead of 14. So the early game is even more consistent than it already was, which is one of the most consistent early games of any deck. That isn't just dumbass aggro. And I put in a Zwei. This is just an experiment to see how well this card performs. I haven't got a chance to use it yet, but I bet you it'll be decent. And it'll give me some reason to think about using Evolve Points. But now you have 5 Icaruses, which is really, really good. Well, it's good if you're going second. If you're going first, you don't really care, because it's just a 2-drop, that's good. But if you're going second, it makes your deck probably 2 or 3% better, just because of Knower of History. So Portal got a slight buff, and it doesn't seem like they printed any answers to it that didn't already exist. So it's just Forest Graph that counters Portal, and only specific kinds of Forest Graph, and pretty much nothing else. Agro Sword used to be kind of a bad matchup, but now they don't have Albert anymore, so it's not a bad matchup anymore. It's not bad, it was just like 55 to 60, and Brain Dead. It's still Brain Dead, but it's probably like 65 now, which is almost every matchup if you play perfectly. Which is easier said than done. Last time I went and played a match, last video I did, and it was against Agro Sword, and I was making fun of him for being stupid enough to play Agro Sword in the post-Albert era. And he got completely destroyed, of course. So let's see if I lose this one. Some karma. I am on a win streak because I forgot to run out the win streak last expansion. Too busy with Dragon Ball videos. Orange juice. Mmm, that's good, OJ. Okay, Haven. Haven might be good, I don't know.
Activate. Enhance. Fire.
I'm not sure what Haven lost, so what Haven gained. Keep the Knower? Why not? Hamlin's very good. So now we have turn 4. Okay. We've got tempo. We might need to draw a deuce eventually, but against Haven you don't always need it. There seems to be some cynicism about Portal, that it's all about drawing Deus. It's not. That's just in the mirror and against Shadowcraft. You can beat every other deck without Deus. And frequently, it's just unnecessary. Dragon, sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't.
The best jewelry for you is...
New card. New card. What do you think? That's a American Psycho reference. That was...
Ready to blast him now! Fire! Meow! Now! Aww!
Almost a really stupid decision. I'm sure the audio is way too loud, but at least the music isn't drowning me out. Whoa! Really? You want to play that on like Analyzing Artifacts, bud? This is not looking great for him so far. But who knows? Haven always has crazy like
that one is adorable!
This is just cards, right? It's so slow compared to just the old ways that Haven used to get cards.
Join me on a musical journey.
Go ahead, try these girls out.
Prime artifacts are probably not very good against Haven. For obvious reasons, they'll get banished.
The best jewelry for you is...
This card seems kinda slow. Because you got like Jeweled Tortoise is actually kinda broken.
One of a kind, like you! See you again.
It's potentially broken if you get 2 out going second, plus another card, then Jewel Totus just wins you the game. Which used to be how Haven played like every matchup. But who knows? Alright. So the YOLO play is just to play Knower of History and evolve it, and then play Hamlin on whatever I draw. But it's probably a little bit better to do it the other way.
Join me on a musical journey.
Go ahead, try these girls out.
Coming at you.
Go, connect with her.
Okay, it would have worked if I did it. I don't have another Hamlin, so...
Hey, listen to this!
Aww.
Playing around Ancient Lion Spirits. Not really playing around Cudgel. I don't really give a shit about Cudgel.
Black is perfect on you.
Your evil deeds
Sure.
end now.
Go for a bit.
私に勝つつもり？
I see your weakness.
See you again.
So we can make the YOLO play. Alexander isn't doing it anymore with 2 metas.
Go ahead.
So
try these girls out.
I'm hoping I draw the Prime this time.
Now the fight begins!
Go, connect with her.
I did. Very nice. Okay. So just...
Hey, listen to this!
What in the...
So we know he doesn't have, what's it called in hand. Ancient Lion Spirit, so we'd have to draw it. You Cudgel again, that's fine. It comes down to whether he can remove my primes. If he can't, we win. Pretty much by default.
Light for all the world. 私は誰にも負けたりしない。This is the wheel. I'm shimmering. See you again.
Spy is actually pretty good. Even without an evolve. We don't need it right now. And for the first time, I get to play primary. I'm assuming he's gonna play the 3/7 taunt charger. The card's actually kind of insane, but it just never really worked out.
Your evil deeds end now.
Okay. We can't play the second Prime. I think it just doesn't
Light
work.
for all the world.
Because if it gets double banished, it's like really, really bad for me. Does Benaria do anything? It draws me a card, and it pumps up Saphira's damage. 0 artifacts destroyed. Okay, that's not a realistic endgame.
I am the perfect puppet. I'll rise again.
But here's an example of a game where I'm very far ahead without ever playing Deus. That doesn't necessarily mean I win, but pretty damn likely at this point. Was he gonna play Tarnished Grail? That doesn't do anything. That obviously doesn't do anything right now. Now he's only got 6 mana. He could kill my 3-1. What a jerk. He might have like a blackened scripture he could toss at the prime artifact. It would still eat 7 damage to the face in that case.
No!
New card. Never seen this card before. Okay. I think there's no reason to play this YOLO. We just kill this. If we go face, there's no reason to play YOLO.
Weapons, got you covered.
Should be an analyzing agent, sure.
Can you keep me company? Awaken.
The opponent is probably playing Bahamut. Bahamut doesn't do shit to prime artifact. But we're a turn before Bahamut, so we don't really worry about it.
What in the...
Israfil Sahakul doesn't clear the board. If he's playing that. This guy's deck is interesting, so can't really insult him. It might even be a personally made deck, which is just out of this world. Never happens. What? It's just admitting defeat at this point.
Awaken.
Ah, the Prime does not have initiative. Interesting. Okay. It does 1. There's no way to... I would not have lethal. Okay. I don't think I have any Radiance in the deck. We don't really have a chance of losing, so I'm not overly concerned. Okay.
Leave my sight.
Too easy.
Okay, it's good to know it doesn't have initiative. That makes it significantly worse than Mordecai. There's a zombie. Oh, there's the Shadowcraft amulet. Is it at the end of the opponent's turn, or is it at the start of your turn when it summons the zombie? It must be at the end of your opponent's turn.
Hi.
So that's interesting. But we learned something about primes. Hooray.
Seems to be over.
That doesn't mean primes are bad because God Bullet exists. There you go, 7 match win streak. Season over season. I bet I could get Master in like 5 or 6 days if I played enough. But I'm kind of focused on DBZ right now, so that's unlikely. I might play a decent amount though. But mainly what I'm going to do is, or in the near future,
Can you hear the whispers of the wind?
is play Arena with the British Fairy Lady. And there you go. Doesn't everybody love British Fairy Lady? Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I think it went roughly as well as the first time, except now the audio balance shouldn't be fucking terrible. Hooray. If you're wondering how this shit works, registered just means you played a private match. And then it comes through a little bit later. It's pretty confusing the way it's described. 50 rupees, that's the worst reward. But it's free. Who cares? Even if you get 50 rupees a day, that's 500 rupees. 450 for me. And a free pack, too. It's pretty nuts. Alright, toodles.